Abby Nichols, the Colorado senior. This is just a victory lap for her.
Covert is going to be second, 1-2 for Colorado.
So Colorado, I believe, Tom, gets 5 home in the top 12, and that should win a team championship for the Buffs. Herrera's going to hold on for third. You go ahead and count them. Count 5 jerseys for Colorado. Congratulations on a team championship, and another one for Wetmore. He's unreal.
The Wetmore factor, baby.
Hold it up high.
Here we can look at the Colorado cross-country team. The last time they were in Utah prior to the Mountain Regionals, that was in the Pac-12 Championships. Back in the Stampede, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Mark Wetmore, head coach for cross-country, coming off a adequate weekend, I think is how Mark just put it to me. Yeah. The women finished second, the men finished third. Women get the automatic bid. How'd you feel about the performance?
Again, yeah, the word is adequate. We needed to get through, and did what we needed to do. Everybody goes there trying to be a little careful and save a little bit for 8 days later. So I think we did that, and yes, we're off to Tallahassee.
That's an interesting balancing act to me. So you held some runners out.
Yep.
How do you determine that? How far you want to go or how far you want to hold back?
Yeah, it is a balancing act. In the case of our women, we kept 2 of our top 5 out. Mm-hmm. In the case of our men, we didn't hold anybody out, but we spared them any pep talks.
Okay.
So the idea is to qualify and hopefully to be rested enough to run well again in 8 days.
So is the purpose of that just from a resting standpoint, or what's the kind of the logic behind it?
Well, whether resting physically or resting psychologically, one of the two or both. Yeah.
Okay. How was the course?
Well, the course was good. We've been there before, but on a different half of the same golf course. So it was new. The parking lot was the same, but the rest of the race was new. It was a little more, had a little more character than 2 weeks before when we ran on 7 soccer fields.
Yeah. The way the Buffs now, though, the women have qualified for the national championships 13 consecutive years. The men, 30 consecutive years. Those are pretty heady numbers.
It's a tough region, too, so
yes.
We're particularly proud of that when you're dealing with BYU and NAU and Utah and New Mexico year after year. It's a hard conference to get through, so they work hard to do it.
Want to talk about some of the individual efforts in the Mountain Regionals last week. Right now we step aside for our correspondent Alicia. She's going to chat with Hannah Minuti.
Thanks, Mark. I'm here talking to Hannah Minuti, who is a freshman on the CU cross-country team. Hannah, you're the youngest on the varsity team by over 2 years. So what have you learned from the older woman, and also being young with this new fresh perspective, what have you taught them?
Honestly, they're so all-inspiring, and they all just have such grit and work so hard. So I've kind of learned that, even when things feel hard and when you feel like you're backtracking or you're not having your best day, you have each other and you can always just push forward and work together. So a lot about strength, and then, I've always kind of tried to bring a fun side of things and joking side of things, and they carry that too. So it's just a good mix together, honestly. I love them all.
I agree, though. You definitely bring this really fun, lighthearted perspective, and I know everybody really appreciates it.
I try.
Yeah. So moving forward, you have nationals this Saturday. Super exciting, probably the biggest stage you've been on. So how are you feeling mentally, and what are you going to do to make sure you're feeling your best on the starting line?
I'm honestly just trying not to overthink things and, just have fun with this week. It's obviously a really exciting week, and we've worked super hard to be at this point. So it's kind of just counting my blessings for one, because I didn't expect to be in this position. And also kind of just trying to stay calm and have fun with it, and, a lot of big things coming, and a lot of confidence in the fitness. So just kind of, this is the part that we've been ready for, and hunker down and get going. Yeah.
You've been training really hard consistently, and it looks like you have a really fresh perspective. I think you're going to do great, and we're all excited to watch.
Oh, I can't wait.
Back to you, Mark.
Here we hear from one of the women's team members for the cross-country program, Hannah Minuti, as we continue with Mark Wetmore. The Buffs getting ready for the national championships down in Tallahassee, Florida, coming up this weekend. Before we get to that here, your individual performances. Abby Nichols was the top finisher for the women. How did she run?
Perfectly on cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same with Lalo. They don't like to be third or fourth or fifth when they're right in the thick of it with a kilometer to go. But they know a couple of percent save this weekend might be a couple of percent gain next.
I'm always fascinated by, you think to yourself, if you're not versed in running, go out and run as fast as you can. That's not what you guys are doing at all. It really is fascinating.
Yeah, we're different from other sports. When I first started here, there was an associate AD who really came down on me hard when I said we didn't try as hard as we could. And I said, there's times, conference meet in the Nationals. So beyond that, it's cagey.
So the season all builds up for this now, right? Now you got on to Tallahassee. Tell us about the course down there first off.
Tallahassee is a good course. It's not entirely flat. Has some character to it. It disappears into the woods for a nerve-wracking few minutes per loop. Women run 2 loops, men run 3 or 4. I guess probably 4 this weekend. But it's fair. It could be hot. We'll see.
Yeah. How do you prepare for that? Now, here you're of course getting ready here in Colorado, where it's cool. You got to go out to. How do you factor that in?
Can't. Yeah. You just have to. Hope that it isn't terribly hot and hope that you manage it well early in the race. All
right. Well, fantastic. Great luck. It all builds towards this. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, no holding back this weekend.
That's right.
Thanks a lot.
Mark Wetmore, cross-country coach here at the University of Colorado as they head to the Nationals this week down in Florida. That wraps up this week's Buffalo Stampede. I'm Voice of the Bus, Mark Johnson. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.